What's up, guys? How are you? Hope you're all fine. Welcome to a new episode of the Beauty of Life podcast. Today, in honor of being in the month of September, which means going back to school, going back to work, going back to the routine, I thought I would do this episode where I talk about how to get back into the routine in a smooth and an easy way possible and in an effective way, because we all, whenever we get to September and, we try to get back into the routine, we set these goals and, we're going to be this changed person that will have its life together and just will stick to the routine and, be the best version of ourselves. And that's amazing. But we tend to fall off from this excitement of, having our life together very shortly, like a week or two later, and we've fallen back into our old habits, and we don't want to do that. So in today's episode, I'm going to be talking about things here and there that you have to keep in mind in order to keep your routine and make the most of this new year, because technically during the year we have like two beginnings. We have the beginning of the year, in January, but also we have a second opportunity during September, because it's like the going back, it feels like it's just summer ended and now it's beginning of a new year, and it's a second opportunity to make sure to accomplish the goals that we've set at the beginning of the year. So starting with this episode, let's start by talking about our goals that we've set for ourselves at the beginning of the year. So one of the first things that I recommend you to do is go and check your goals. Take a look at them, see where you're standing, see what goals have you accomplished, what goals have you forgotten about them, what goals have you tried accomplishing but you still haven't finished. Just take a look at them and see where you're standing. And from there, start working on them. The year is still not over. You still got October, November, and December. 3 full months in order to accomplish your goals. So don't give up on them. Even if you think, I haven't accomplished them throughout the whole year, like how am I gonna accomplish them now? Well, most certainly not with that mentality. So you've got to change that and just try. Do your best. You still have time, so it's not like you're checking on your goals like the last day of the year. No, you're checking them 3 months before the year ends. So you can still do it. Maybe not accomplish them all, but still you can accomplish a lot of them. So work on them. And the way that I'm gonna do it, or the way that I've been doing it throughout the year and right now in September I'm gonna continue doing, is that I like to divide the year in the seasons. Each season I set for myself goals that I want to accomplish during these, the next 3 months of whatever season it is, during winter, spring, summer, and now in this case fall. So at the beginning of each season, I've talked about this multiple times, but at the beginning of each season, I create a collage or a mood board, whatever you want to call it. It's basically for my lock screen, where I place pictures from Pinterest of the things that I want to accomplish during these next 3 months. Obviously, I make it super aesthetic and, according to the colors of the season and all these things. But yeah, I basically put pictures of the things that I want to accomplish in these next 3 months. And I place that picture as my lock screen. So every single day, I'm looking at the goals that I want to accomplish in this near future. And most importantly, these goals that I set for myself are small versions of the bigger goal that I set for myself at the beginning of the year. So that way, it's easier for me to have accomplished my goals at the end of the year, because I broke them down into small goals throughout the year. So I will say in the next 3 months, I'm going to be working out. So I will put pictures of, a girl working out. If I say I want to be more of a fashionista, so depending on the season, I'm going to put pictures of nice outfits that I want to recreate during that season. And if right now it's time to go back to school, so I want to obviously have good grades, I'm going to put pictures of a student studying in a coffee shop or whatever. You know what I mean? And so it all forms part of the bigger picture, which is the goals that I set at the beginning of the year. So that should be your first step. Once you have your goals all clear, the next step is to create a healthy and balanced routine. Now, before we get into that, I'm sure you've noticed a slight change in the audio. That's because I had to change location because it started raining and you could hear the rain in the background, and it wasn't very, smooth and nice. So I had to change locations. I hope you don't mind that. But yeah, it was just to let you know about the difference that you're hearing. And so yeah, let's get back into it. So basically, what I mean when I say create a healthy and balanced routine, what I want you to do is to take just 30 minutes of your day, just once, and sit down, look at your schedule, and see what are the things that you want to have in your daily or weekly routine. So maybe that's working out 3 times a week. Maybe that's also meal prepping. Maybe that's having one day of, going out with friends. Whatever it is, you're gonna sit down and you're gonna plan which days of the week you're gonna be doing each thing. So you're gonna plan your routine and you're gonna have it all set. But the most important thing is that you have to be realistic when you're setting your routine, because you can't just say I want to work out like 5 times a week if you can't do it, if realistically your schedule doesn't allow you to do that. Maybe your schedule doesn't even allow you to work out like 3 times a week. Maybe you only can do it twice. So if you realistically can only work out twice a week, that's enough. Start with that. Later on, you're gonna, figure it out or whatever. But for the moment, if realistically you can only work out twice a week, then twice a week it is. But don't do the thing that everyone does. It's like, no, I want to work out 3 times a week. So I'm gonna be working out Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. But then Mondays, it's unrealistic for you to work out because you have a very full and jam-packed schedule that there's no way you can fit a workout. And so then Monday comes and you have in your mind, like, I'm gonna find time for me to work out today. And you're not gonna find a moment to work out, and the day is gonna end, and you're gonna look back at your day and you're gonna feel so bad about yourself because you didn't find a moment to work out. But to be honest, you were setting yourself for failure from the very beginning because there was no way for you to work out on Monday. So with that, you're already starting with the wrong foot because you feel bad about yourself. You already don't feel accomplished. You feel like you're a failure, and that's just not gonna help you. Maybe on Wednesday you're not gonna be as motivated to work out because you already failed the first day, so that's not gonna happen. So there are bigger possibilities for you to just end up not working out ever. I mean, I'm being very, drastic here just for not working out one day, but you know what I mean. Like, maybe it's the first Monday, it doesn't dismotivate you, but maybe if you work out Wednesday and then Friday and then Monday comes back again the next week, and again you can't work out on Monday, so that again is another failure for yourself, and it's gonna make you feel bad, and all the things. So just don't do that for yourself. If you can work out 3 times a week, then do it. If you can't, then it's twice a week, and that's it. Another point very important in this whole thing here is that you need to make sure you don't start too excited. I mean, yes, be excited to have a nice routine and to be in the way or in the path of improving yourself and all those things. But we have this tendency of, at the beginning of a new change, we're so excited and so motivated to implement this new change that, because we have this motivation, we tend to overdo it. So, for example, I feel like workouts are the best way to explain this whole theory. So, for example, the first day, let's just say Wednesday, you work out for your first day, and you were supposed to just work out for 30 minutes, but you were so excited that you decided to work out for a full hour because you had all this energy, this motivation, this excitement, because you were like, oh my God, I'm, working towards my dream body and my dream health and all these things. And so, because you overdid it, the next day you're gonna feel like like a car crushed you, and probably the next day and like for the next 3 or 4 days your body is so sore that you can't work out again. And that's also setting yourself for failure, because it's very easy to be so excited at the beginning that we overdo it until we get to a point where we get burnt out. And we all know what happens when we get burnt out. We just decide to quit. So Just like people that run, they tell them that they shouldn't start running at all speed, and that they should, keep it in a normal speed, without overrunning, so that they're able to last longer running and not just, run so fast at the beginning that 3 minutes later they're tired. So the same thing happens with our habits. At the beginning, we're so excited that we don't mind overdoing it, but over time, as time goes by, we start to get tired of overdoing it, that it gets to a point where we no longer do it because we're so tired of it. So control yourself and make sure that you don't overdo it. Another 2 things that you need to keep in mind while establishing your new routine is having some me time and also having some social time. You might think that going to work or going, to school where you already see people, that counts as social time. And well, if you already like the people that are surrounding you and you enjoy your time with them and all those things, maybe you don't need this. But sometimes some people don't like the people that work with them, or, they're not as close with them as they would want. And I'm talking about work, but it also applies to school. So if you don't have that, then make sure that once a week or maybe once every 2 weeks, you meet up with your friends, or maybe it's your family, Connect with the people that make you happy, that make you feel good, that make you laugh, that make you disconnect. It's very important because that can help you, reset yourself and start fresh. It helps you recharge your social battery, which is very important. Even if you're an antisocial person, even if you don't like people, you also need that because it's human nature. It's something that we all need. And when people are very antisocial and they like their own company, they feel like they don't need that social time. But the thing is, we all need it. I mean, I'm the first person, I'm very antisocial, I can thrive on my own. But I have noticed it, that if I spend too much time without seeing my friends, even if it's just once a month, I don't know, it's just here being extreme, once a month, once every 2 months, if I don't see them for a very, very long time, my social battery is so drained, it's non-existential, and I start feeling it in my mental health. So it's very important that once in a while, you meet up with the people that makes you happy. And then, also, you have to have your me time. That, I just think that it's very important for you to have it once a week. We've talked about your social battery. Maybe you don't need to recharge that battery so often, but your me time is very important. And so you need to select when you're planning your week, you need to make sure to select a day. Probably it's gonna be Sundays, but I don't know, that depends on your schedule. So you're gonna choose a day where you're gonna try to have as much me time as possible. Maybe it's just an afternoon. If you can do it a whole day, then it's amazing. If it's just during the night, then well, the night it is. But have your me time and do whatever it is that you feel like you need to do. Maybe it's just sleep. Maybe it's watching a show. Maybe it's having a skincare night. Whatever it is that you feel like you need, do it. Once you've got all your routines set up and you know what are the goals that you want to focus on during this new beginning of yours, there are 2 things that you need to focus on. The first thing is to focus on the small daily wins, aka being grateful. And I know that this is very cliche, I know that a lot of people say it around, but I really believe it. And this is a habit that I have implemented in my life for over 3 years now, and I genuinely every single day do it. So the way I do it is that every single night when I go to bed, I know that some people say that you have to write them in your notebook, have a gratitude journal or something like that. I do have one, but that's more for when I want to sit down and write and write and write. But I'm talking here about daily gratitude. Every single night, I lay down in my bed when I'm about to go to sleep, and so the last thing that my mind thinks of is the things that I'm grateful for. I start with a list of the things that I'm grateful for, in general, and because I've said them so many times, I literally already have them memorized. So it's I say I'm grateful about my health, about my family's health, I'm grateful to be living with my parents and, have them with me every single day. I'm grateful for having food, a roof. I'm grateful for, having a economical stability, if that's, I say it in Spanish, but, being economically stable to be able to afford the things that we want and, things like that. Those are the basics. And then I just quickly run through the whole day and think of all the things that have happened this day, and I say the things that I'm grateful for. So sometimes it's just the little teeny tiny little things, and sometimes there are some big accomplishments that have happened during that day, and I'm grateful about them. So I'm just, whenever I have a delicious meal, I say I'm grateful for being able to have that meal. I'm grateful for having this experience. I'm grateful because I was so happy during this afternoon. I was just smiling and laughing and all these things, and things like that. And that's the last thing that happened that goes through my mind every single day, and you have no idea how amazing that is. So I suggest you to try to implement this. At the beginning, sometimes you can forget it. Like 3 years ago, when I first started implementing this habit, there weren't so many nights where I didn't remember to do it, but slowly but surely I started to remember, and now I cannot sleep without doing it. Like, it's just so implemented in my routine, and sometimes I even fall asleep while I'm saying the things that I'm grateful for. And in the morning when I wake up, I'm like, oh, I didn't finish my gratitude, and I finish it in my mind. But also, I personally think that there is no better way to fall asleep other than being grateful for the things that you have. So yeah, try to implement it. You're gonna see how grateful you are. You're gonna see how happy you're gonna get. Because you're grateful every single day, you're gonna notice that even throughout your day, whenever something happens that makes you happy, you're gonna remember, like, something in your brain is gonna click, and you're gonna be like, oh, I'm so grateful for this. And so many times throughout the day, I'm like, oh my god, this experience or whatever this is happening right now, I'm gonna have to remember it to say that I'm grateful for it this night. It's just so beautiful, and it really fills your heart. And when you have a full heart, there's nothing more that you can ask for. That's for the first thing. And then the second thing, and it kind of goes in hand with what I was saying before, but it's basically to not allow a bad day to turn into a bad week, and then that bad week to turn into 2 bad weeks until it becomes the normal thing. We're all allowed to have bad days, or maybe you don't feel like working out, or you have a junk food day where you're just, from the beginning to the end of your day, you're only eating bad food, or maybe you don't study for this day, or whatever it is. We all are allowed to have bad days. It's very normal. It's part of life, and it's okay. What it's not okay is when you let that first day to become 2 days, to become a week, to become a month, to become the normal thing. That's not okay. So if you didn't work out today because you're feeling very tired because whatever reason, then work out tomorrow or the other day, but make sure that you go and work out. Just because you took a break for whatever reason you need it doesn't mean that it has to be a permanent break. So make sure that you don't allow yourself to get into that cycle. So yeah, I think that's all for my tips on how to try to slowly and easily try to get into a routine and make it very efficient and a lasting routine. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. I hope that you got some useful information, that I got to inspire you into getting into this new season with the right foot. And yeah, take care of yourself, take on the world, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!